Remember when x is 0, this is the y-intercept. So 0, 5. And then 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 1. Okay, we're going to end up graphing 3 lines today. We've talked about slope. We did that last week. We did that in the half day. Right now, can you identify 3 other ordered pairs that are also on this line? What does it mean by ordered pair? What does it mean by ordered pair, Vivian?
Like coordinates.
Coordinates, like an XY point. Yeah, I need 3 other points. Can you and your group come up with 3 other points? And then I'm going to have people come up and put them on my whiteboard graph. I'm going to have you put them up on the whiteboard graph with some color. Here we go. Come up with 3 points, please. So this graph up here on my whiteboard graph. So we had negative 1, 7. We had 2, 1. And we had 2, 3, 4, 4, negative 3. Okay? Again, you should check that your points on the line. Some of you were telling me some points and they were not lining up on the line. They were over here or they were down here. So double check your points are on the line. So let's move on to slope. We've been talking about slope. What is the slope of this line? What is the slope of this line if I go from the point to point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, 1, 2, 3. So I've got my rise over my run. What number do I put over what number, Vivian?
-6/3.
Great. What does that simplify to be? Negative 2 over 1 or just negative 2? So our slope is negative 2. How do we know? We can count on that little slope triangle that I added to the graph. So our slope, our m, is negative 2. So now we're going to put it together. In part 4, we're going to write the equation of the line. So now we're going to put it together. In part 4, we're going to write the equation of the line. What is the equation of the line? We've got y equals negative 2x. What was our y-intercept? 5. Good job, 5. Thank you. Now with your group, when the x value is 100, what is the y value? Can you turn and talk with your group? How are you going to figure this out? Turn and talk with your group. Value. What's the y value? What's the y value? What you got? What's your y value? Negative 195. That sounds fantastic. Negative 2 times 100 is negative 200. Plus 195, or plus 5, we get negative 195. Great. We're just plugging it in. That's why the equation's so helpful, right? When you write an equation, you can find a really, really big value. Okay, now we're switching gears. Number 6. A different line also passes through the point 3, negative 1, but now it has a slope of 1/2. Uh-oh. Now it has a slope of 1/2. Can you add that to your graph? And then we'll answer the question. So you're going to add that to your graph. I'm going to pull up my graph. Again, I'm adding that line to my graph for problem number 6. Now you're going to answer the questions for number 6. Who thinks they got 6A? What's the new y-intercept? What do you got? Negative 2.5? That's what you got? Negative 2.5? Are we agreeing, groups? Negative 2.5? 0, negative 2.5? What's the relationship between these two lines? Ooh, who said that? Okay, nice. It's perpendicular. It's perpendicular. That's a relationship we've been talking about in geometry. It's perpendicular. You're writing this for 6B. I'm just writing it next to the graph so we can keep looking at it. So I'm going to add a little 90-degree box. These meet at a 90-degree angle. That's why they're perpendicular. Okay. Now in number 7, you need to write and sketch the equation of a line that is parallel to this red line. So turn and talk to your group. What would a parallel line look like? Again, you're going to make it parallel to the red one on the screen. Okay, number 7. What's true about parallel lines? What's true about parallel lines when we graph them? They have the same slope. Good, they have the same slope. Anything else we should know? Same slope? When I'm graphing them? They have a different y-intercept. So that's the equation of the graph I graphed. Maybe you drew a different parallel line. You should have drawn a different parallel line. And you picked a different y-intercept. So for parallel lines, they have the same slope. They have a different y-intercept. So we got 2 line relationships. We've been looking at it in geometry. This is the algebra application. And you got to know both. You got to know both. Okay? If you're ready, flip the page. We'll do the quick notes together. So parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines. We've talked about parallel lines in geometry. They never intersect. We have notation to mark them in geometry, but today we're talking about the algebra application. So they have the same slope. They have a different y-intercept. Now, parallel lines are the easier one. Perpendicular is harder. Perpendicular slope. We graphed it just great. The perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal. Have we heard that before? Opposite reciprocal. Opposite meaning the sign. Meaning the sign. Like positive or negative. If it is positive, it becomes negative. If it is negative, it becomes positive. Reciprocal means we'll flip the fraction. You might say, I don't have a fraction. So we'll look at this first example. On the last page, you told me that the slope of that line that we first graphed was -2. The perpendicular slope was a flip of that. So I could put -2 over 1, and if I flip that, that becomes 1/2. And it was negative, so it becomes positive. I don't have to write the positive. But for this example, to help you guys out, we changed it from -2 to positive 1/2. We flipped it. Questions? Parallel, perpendicular. Again, we'll keep writing this over and over again, but y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Number 1, we're just practicing writing a y equals mx plus b. Can you turn and talk with your group and come up with the equation for this graph? Ready, set, go. With your group. Fantastic. Hey, can we check our answer? This is just finding an equation from the graph. Y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Can you do that? That was a review from last week. Okay, great. Now we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through, and I'm sorry, I had to highlight. There was a typo on here. I had to highlight, so you're going to have to change yours. Find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. And then once we find that slope, we're going to find the perpendicular slope. So again, we're going to review what we did last week. I recommend that you label your points. x1, y1, x2, y2. We're going to do slope formula. Y2 minus Y1. We're just going to take it a step further. Once you find your slope, then find the perpendicular one. So give it a try with your group. Find the original slope between those 2 points. Then find the perpendicular one. If you're ready, you could check your work on the screen. I got my original slope. Can you find the perpendicular slope to that? Turn and talk with your group. If you forgot what perpendicular slope is, go look at your quick notes. What did we say? What do we think the perpendicular slope is? What's that perpendicular slope? Is there anything really to flip? It's 1. It's just a negative 1? Yeah, it's just negative 1. That would be the perpendicular slope. There's nothing really to flip when our slope is 1. We could flip the 6 over 6, but we would still get negative 1. Okay? Let's go try number 5. Number 5, write the equation of a line that passes through, I think we're going to have to change this point. My bad. It printed wrong. 0, 8. 0, 8. And it's perpendicular to this line. I highlighted it. It was a typo. Okay, this is what it looks like on your test. This is just like the test question. So turn and talk with your group first. What is the slope? What's the original slope? What's your perpendicular slope? What does 0, 8 mean? Turn and talk with your group. Equation, the original slope was negative 3. So to get the perpendicular slope, I'm going to flip it. You might be saying, how do I flip it? Well, it's going to be 1/3. It was negative, so it's positive 1/3. You don't have to write the positive, but if that helps you. Positive 1/3 x plus, what's my y-intercept? 8. 8. When x is 0, this is your y-intercept. So on your test, I'm going to give you the y-intercept. I'm going to ask for the parallel or perpendicular slope. Cool. Our homework, I'm going to pass out as 1 through 6.